Hello everyone, welcome back to Edgewater and welcome back to Generations. Thank you so much for the response to the first episode. Honestly, quite humbling. It is in fact my most viewed video in the first 24 hours since I started YouTube, so kind of stopped me in my tracks. But we shall push on. Thank you to the people who've contributed ideas for mods and come up with suggestions. I'm going to take a few of those on. First and foremost, I'm going to have to say thank you to Ralgith, who is one of my followers, who has suggested a couple of replacement mods. One is this McCorrmick seeder here. A little bit older than the one we had before, but looks really, really nice. That is from Scooter's Workbench. And also from Scooter's Workbench is the Sickle bar mower. We've got it in Alice Chalmers branding here, but it comes also in John Deere and Case IH. A little bit longer than the other one, 2.1 meter working width rather than 1.8, so looking forward to giving that a go. The other thing that has been discussed a few times actually is, I think I talked about it in the first episode, is TMR. Now, I think way back in the 50s, 60s, TMR wasn't really a thing. They basically got fed silage and they got fed hay. So we're going to do a little bit of that, I think, to start with. We may introduce TMR later on, but that makes things a little bit easier while we start off. We still don't have our cows, but we are going to get stuck in and get them sorted in the not too distant future. Now, other changes. We have reached out to our neighbour and we have leased field 17 here, which is a grass field, because we've got grass up here which we've turned to hay, but we're going to need some more if we're going to get some silage going. So field 17, we'll maybe have a look at that this episode and get cutting in there as well. But for now, we need to get that hay off the field. And the first thing we need to do is get it windrowed and get it into nice rows ready for the baler to come along. So I'm kind of looking forward to this. So we're going to take the old Ferguson. We've got a nice windrower here, which is kind of appropriate for the era. So we're going to pick this up, get it hooked up, and dive into that field and get some rather nice rows going, because that baler we've got has got a bale throw on it, and that trailer that comes with it is quite a nice little combo. And I'm kind of hoping that we've got enough space here for these new auto-load sheds from Giants that came out with patch 1.9, and we can get ourselves a nice little collection of bales starting to be stored, which will be good fun. So there's our field, looking good as we left it last time. I think there's quite a good crop on here as well, so let's get in, let's get some rows done, and we'll be back shortly. Now I'm going to quickly run around the edge of this field first, because remember, the tedder that we used really threw the grass right up to the edges of the fence, and I think if I put a worker on this they would miss some of it, so I'm going to go out of my way and grab some of this and at least pull it into the boundaries of the field. There's really quite a big crop on here though, it's great. We'll have a substantial amount of bales after this. A chunk of grass there we missed though, but we should get through this quite quickly. And the grass will grow quite quickly as well. It's one of the things that's good about grass, is it doesn't take long to grow back. Right, there's some good work going on there. Won't be long till they finish, so we will go and get the baler and the trailer set up. I've just jumped in here to check what we need from a horsepower perspective on this. Only 50 horsepower. This is a lovely little baler. This is from Rooster Mods. Again, really nicely done little mod. I've used this a few times and I love it to bits, so can't wait to get stuck in and give this a go again. Now, as it's 50 horsepower, we could take this. This has got 50 horsepower, but because we're going to be pulling the trailer behind it as well, I'm going to go for the slightly bigger rig. Let's go for the 4320. Give ourselves the best chance of getting this work done as quickly as possible. Now, like I've said, I'm trying as hard as I can to make sure that the mods are within keeping with the era. This is probably the newest bit of kit we've got, this baler. I just couldn't find anything older. So, if somebody does know of one, please let me know. But equally, it doesn't feel out of place. So, I can live with this one. Let's get it hooked up to the trailer here. There we go. This trailer is available in the mod hub. And it is fantastic. Used it a few times already on series and really, really like it. So we'll get this into position. I am going to run around the edge of the field again. And the worker has obviously missed a few bits there as well, so I'm going to tidy those bits up. I'm going to run around the edge of the field as well, because the benefit of this one is that because we're picking things up on the trailer, we can run around the edges first, clear those before we go on the up and down rows. Look how neat those rows are though, that looks great. There's a serious crop on this field, I tell you. Right, here we go. We'll get this sorted as quickly as we can. This won't be as nice and neat as the other ones, but we'll try and get ourselves relatively straight. This baler will take not a lot to make a bale, so these windrows are huge. Now you can see here we're going right up to the edge of the field. But what we'll do is we will run around the edge at the end and get that sorted. So we'll quickly get this done and then we'll be back. Right, there we go. We've pulled everything away from the edges of the field there. I'm just going to stop this here. There is a huge crop on here. It is massive. Some of these rows are just huge. Okay, I am excited to see how we get on here. So, let's jump in. Let's get some baling done. Right, we're just going around the headlands here. We may need to go around a couple of times just because of the size of the windrows. We're not picking it all up. It's only a small baler. As you can see, we've got a bale chute on. And it's launching them out. But we've got an auto loader on the trailer, which is great too. So, we're getting that done. So we'll push on. We'll get this done. We'll get a bit neater once we get into the straight rows, but for now, just try and gather up as much as we can. Right, we've just stopped here. We're going to have a little rest. 58 bales already on the trailer, which is great. We've got a few more rows still to do here. But what I thought we might do, I'm going to go and get the mower set up and to that big field and start cutting the grass there, because we are going to need to get that into this silo pretty quickly. Got a plan for that as well. So what we'll do, as we've got the Ferguson here, we will take this, we will drop off the windrower, and we'll pick up the mower, and then we'll head on over there. Now what we'll do here, we'll do the headlands, a couple of the headlands, and I'll put a worker on these. Courseplay doesn't like offset machinery. It just doesn't seem to work very well with it, whereas the in-game workers seem to work very well with it. So, from that perspective, it just means we'll need to do the headlands, which is fine. And then we will leave it to get on with it while we go back and finish the baling off. Now we've got our 2 fields here, which we cultivated in the last episode. I have to think about what we plant in those as well. So, lots going on. We've also got the ploughed field down here as well, so there's going to be a lot of planting going on in the next episode or so. Get things ready and organised for when the spring comes and the crops start growing. I'm kind of itching to get in and have a play with that Lanz John Deere combine that we've got as well, that vintage combine. That's going to be a whole heap of fun. So, but until then, we've got to get the chores done that need to be done just now, and starting with getting this grass cut and getting it into the silo and fermenting, because our cows are going to be joining us in the next month or so. So we need to be prepped for them and ready. Man, this takes a while when you're only moving at 12 miles an hour. I miss my modern tractors. Right, it's taken aeons to get here. I think we've moved through about 3 generations getting to the field, but we are here now. We are going to fire up this and get things going. Unfold it first, that would make sense. There we go, it's starting to work. Lovely animations on this. Gotta say, Scooter's Workbench did a wonderful job with this. So let's get it down and let's get it cutting. Like I said, we'll maybe do 2 or 3 headlands and then we will leave it to it. I thought we were going to do this whole field at 4 miles an hour then. I was going to get very nervous. It's picked up now, just couldn't find the gear straight away. And we're moving at pace actually. It's nice. We'll get rid of a few bushes here. We've got the real mower mod on as well, so it basically gets rid of everything in its path, which is good. To all intents and purposes, it gives us more scope to cut what we want out. Now I'm actually going wide in the field edge here, but that's okay. We'll pick that up with the windrower later on. Right, we opened up the headlands on this field. Things are looking good. This mower's great, by the way. I absolutely love this. So it's running super slick. It's quite a big field though, this one. Again, we're going to get quite a lot of yield off this, I think. So, we'll leave this guy to it. Now, I've just realised we don't actually have a means of picking this up other than baling, and I don't want to bale it. I'm going to need to pick it up loose, so we can either use our truck. That requires us to have some sort of forage harvester or chopper to use with it. So I know of one which we can use. I don't have it installed at the moment, but that might be something we look at before we pick this up. But chances of us getting around to that tonight, pretty slim. So what we need to do is get this cut and get it into rows, and then we'll worry about that. But this is running nicely, and again, like I said, the actual in-game helpers seem to be able to handle these offset vehicles a lot better than Courseplay does. So, look at that, it's doing really well. So, we'll leave this going, and we'll go back and we'll finish those bales. Right, we're back, and I forgot to turn the auto load on, so as you can see, I've had a little bit of an unload unceremoniously in the field behind us. We can go and pick those up again, that's not a problem. Let's get turned around here and we will pick them up on the way back. Now, just to address a couple of things that come up in the comments after the first episode. This isn't a survival series, I should say that. It's definitely not a survival series. It's also not a roleplay series either. I am literally just going to play through the Generations like a proper Let's Play series. I'm going to interact with you guys, I'm going to take advice from you guys. We're not going to do anything over the top with this. Really is just enjoying all of the different vehicles that are available in the game. And I think a brilliant advert for the game and how brilliant the modders are to introduce all of this stuff that wasn't in the base game that we can use for our own kind of gameplay styles. And that's what's lovely, right? We all play in different ways, we all do things slightly differently, and modders give us the tools really to be able to play that way. I've always said this, Farmsim would not have the longevity it has if it wasn't for the modding community, so we are very grateful to them, and the reason I can do a wonderful series like this. So let's still got the old rogue bale floating about at the moment. They will sort themselves out, and we'll go and pick them up. So we're going to grab these last few rows here. We'll get everything sorted, and then I'm looking forward to seeing if we can get these straight into the auto load shed as well. The new one from Giants that came out with the last patch. So let me pick up my mess here, get everything sorted, and then we'll be back. There we go. We are done. We can turn off the baler now. There we go. We'll lift it up as well. Now there are a couple of bales in there. I should be able to unload. Yes, there we go. We'll get those kicked out. And we are all sorted. 90 bales. That is a lot. That is a lot. Now, the moment of truth. Let's see what we can do with them. And what I'm going to do here, I'm going to drop the trailer here, like so. We'll put the baler back in the shed. We'll come back and try and unload that now. Let's see how that goes. Now, something that a few of you mentioned as well after the first episode was that the tractor noises were a little bit quiet, so I've played around with the sound as well. So again, let me know if it's starting to work. That would be awesome, and then I will know that we're moving in the right direction with things. So, let's move over here. Now, because this is an auto-load trailer, I think I need to hit the non-load mode, which I think might be something like that. And look, yes, half of them have gone in. That's awesome. So we've just got to get the rest in now. Now this is to do with the trigger in this shed. We might need to have to be pretty clever about how close we get to the shed to get them all in. We might have to manhandle some in, which is okay because we can do that because they're so small. They are movable by hand without turning on super strength, which I'd like to avoid doing if I can. We'll just try and dip the wheels right into the shed here and turn. Yeah, they're going in. Oh, all but a couple. Let's see if we can get out now. There we go, we've got them all in. Superb. And we'll get this trailer back in the shed. I'm not even going to put this on camera because reversing this thing is torture. But we've got all our bales in the shed there. That's a fantastic start. Some food there for the cows at least. And we've got another field which we can start to get some silage out of. But we will join you after we've reversed this, which could be in about 3 months. We'll see you shortly. Right, that's that sorted. I'm going to park this just here rather than put it away straight away. Just check our handiwork in the shed here. There we go. 91 square bales. Superb. Looking great. So, they're there. I'm trying to decide what we do with the silage. Now, obviously I need a forage harvester to pick it up. Could we use the Lodestar? Could we use that? Maybe. Or do we just get a trailer to pull behind the tractor? A quandary to think about. In the meantime, we're going to grab, I think, the other John Deere, and we'll take the windrower down. We're going to see how the mower's doing in the other field, and then we will start doing some windrowing. Now again, as we head along here, we've got a couple of extra miles an hour compared to the old Ferguson. Again, just to address some of the comments that said that certainly the two John Deere tractors were a little bit new to start the series. I think this is the challenge, and one of the reasons I've called it generations rather than decades is because it's not always possible to find the right machinery in the right years. So if you can imagine that this is maybe a span of over 30 years from, you know, the 60s, 70s, maybe even creeping into the 80s with some of the equipment like the baler, we're trying to keep it, you know, relatively close to that era, but we'll do the best way we can. And again, like I said, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments. I've also set up a forum on my Discord server as well, so people can contribute ideas or mods that they've discovered along the way. So yeah, I see this as a very collaborative, let's call it a collaborative series. You know, I want to hear from you guys. I'd love to find out mods that I don't know about as well, which some of you will obviously know about. So that's one of the reasons behind this series. I think it's a bit of a team effort, if you will. Like I said, anything that isn't in the mod hub I will try and post in the description of the vid for each episode as well. So you may see stuff that has been in from previous episodes that the links aren't there for, but they will be in earlier videos. So do go back and check some of the other vids as well. But for now, we'll go with what we've got. If we can find other stuff, like I said, we swapped the seeder and the mower at the start of this episode, so nothing to say that we can't do that. Like I said, this isn't a roleplay series or a survival series where we've got to be watching our money. So if we do find mods that are better suited, I'm more than happy to swap them out. But there we go. Mower's still going strong. I'm probably a little bit too soon to start windrowing this, but we're going well here. Right, while the mower's doing his laps there, I do have the ability to whip around the edge here and just pull this grass away from the borders, so we will do that. But that's pretty much all we can do until the field is completely finished. So we'll get this done quickly, and then we'll come back and have a chat. There we go, we're going around just about to get back to the start of our one lap of the field. And we have ourselves at least pulled it away from the edge, so it'll make things easier to pick up. But I think we need to wait now for the mower to finish doing their thing. So actually, probably a good juncture to stop this episode. A lot of grass work in this episode, more to come I'm sure, especially with starting in spring. Kind of limits what you can do. We've got some seeding to do as well, which hopefully we can do next episode, because it's moving on in the day and we'll be moving over to the next month as we tick over midnight. So that means we can start planting some stuff as well, which is great. But for now, I hope you're enjoying this still. Like I said, I'd love to hear from you in the comments. I'd love to hear from you on Discord. Let me know of any mods that you'd like to see, you know, that are out there that I've maybe not seen yet, and we'll try and keep this as interesting as possible for you all. Any of the mods that, like I said, aren't in the mod hub will be listed in the description below if you want to go and pick them up and have a play with them yourselves. So, for now, from me, the Farmsim guy, thank you again for the support. Blown away by how many of you loved the first episode. Hopefully we can continue that and make this a really, really cool series. So, for now, from me, take care, and I'll see you all again very soon. Bye for now.